It's been going off in Angola over the past few days, and we're going to try and talk about that for a few minutes. I spoke to a friend of mine who's currently in Angola, and he told me some brutal shit about what he's seen during the current protests. If you don't know, there's been ongoing protests due to the announcement by the government to increase the price of diesel. And obviously, people don't like inflation, do you know what I mean? So I think the taxi drivers decided to not work, and other people joined in on the protests, and it's just been going off. A few people have died, a lot more injured. And let's try and see what some of the news outlets are saying. We go with the BBC on this one. Angola's petrol protest death toll rises as medics are overwhelmed. This is on the 30th. At least 22 people, including a police officer, have been killed and 200 others injured in protests against the rise in the price of fuel that began on Monday. Police say more than 1,200 people have also been arrested in what began as a strike by taxi drivers against the price hike and then escalated into one of the most widespread and disruptive waves of protesting the country has seen in recent years. So yeah, that's what my friend told me. Look at that, that's a burnt out car. It's fucking sad, man. Short article, you know. Look at that, the West does it again. Can't blame them. Yeah, that's quite sad. Angola is one of the countries in Africa that produces the most oil. And there's a few countries like Angola, do you know what I mean, that produce a lot of oil. You got Nigeria, you got the Republic of Congo, obviously Angola and a few others. So to see and hear that Angola's going through this, despite all the oil that country has, is actually sad. I think they've got about 9 billion, a reserve of 9 billion barrels of crude oil, which is a lot of oil. But unfortunately, they don't have enough refineries to process that oil. So they can't really tap into those reserves. And for that reason, obviously, they borrow a lot of money from the IMF and other organizations. And those organizations obviously have them in a headlock. So it's quite sad to see what's happening in Angola. And every time I read about stuff like this, I can't help but feel sorry for the population and feel bad for the people. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is Angola right here. Like, it's right next door to the DRC, Zambia, and the Republic of Congo, which is right here. For those of you who don't know, there's actually two Congos. You got the Republic of Congo and the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where they're neighbors. And I think once upon a time, if I'm not mistaken, Angola, the DRC, and the Republic of Congo were all part of one kingdom. And I believe that to be a fact, actually. But you can fact check me if I'm wrong. So it's quite sad when I see these things happen. And I know similar things have been ongoing in the Republic of Congo regarding oil, because they're also an oil-rich country. But people are not really hitting the streets or protesting, but there's been price hikes and there's a lot of shortage of oil, shortage of fuel. People can't really fucking charge up their cars with petrol. Like, it's crazy how countries with so much petrol ain't got petrol for the people to use. And that's due to the lack of refineries. Because a lot of these countries have a lot of reserves of crude oil, but they have no refineries, so they can't refine their own petrol. So what then happens is you have these Western countries who come in, they take most of it, they refine it for them, and they sell it back to them. And that's quite sad to hear, but that's the reality of Africa. And to see and hear that this is happening in Angola is quite sad. Because Angolans are really, really good people, I'm trying to say. And let's see what we can find from another article which was written more recently. And this is what I say to people, right? If you're black, African, or whatever, and you see images like this, like, yo, these people look just like us, they look just like me and you. So it's kind of like, I don't just separate myself when I see this type of stuff. I can't say just because I'm not Angolan this doesn't hit me. Like, fucking, it affects me. So, like, look at this guy, bro. Look just like my brother. Like, these guys look just like my cousins and my brethren, you feel me? Um, what's this article saying? I think he's saying the same as the BBC, at least 22 people being killed. This says 197 injured. This also says over 100 or 1,200 individuals being detained. Led to destruction of 66 stores, 25 vehicles, and multiple warehouses. Okay. Listen, I just hope that this doesn't affect a lot of Angolan stores. Because what tends to happen in these type of countries is that when there's unrest and people are protesting and there's riots and looting, most of the stores that get looted are like local stores. Will be like Angolan shops. I'm trying to say, obviously, I'm not advising or promoting the looting of foreign stores. But if you're gonna loot a store, yo, target some, I don't know, Portuguese stores or something. Like your oppressors, the people who actually came and enslaved you. Don't target your own people and, you know what I mean, loot their shops and or target fucking a Congolese shop and loot them. Because that's what tends to happen. You loot your own people's stores as opposed to the people oppressing you and the people that's who kind of created and caused what you're going through. Do you know what I mean? And this article also says that the demonstrations were triggered by a 3-day strike launched on Monday by taxi driver unions opposing the subsidy cut, which is part of the government's broader economic reform agenda aimed at reducing public spending, aligning with IMF-backed fiscal policies. You see, of course, the IMF's in there. Anytime you see stuff like this, more often than not, especially when it's financial, the IMF's involved. These people cause and create nothing but fucking mayhem in Africa, man. It's really sad. It is really sad, man. But yeah, this kind of goes in line with what my friend was saying. He kind of broke it down to me regarding the cause of this, how people hit the streets, and what he's witnessed. You see a few people get arrested. You see the police stamping on a few men. Even Rickens have witnessed like 1 or 2 people get killed. And this is quite sad. I hope that this gets sorted. And I hope that the African people kind of get their act together. I'm trying to say, not just in Africa, but worldwide. Like, fucking, like, this is too much. How can a country that has so much oil be going through stuff like this? I mean, we understand why, but is it still acceptable? Like, should the people still put up with it? You know? I know the country's in debt. And I know Angola is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, according to the list of corrupt countries that's written by whether it's the UN or whatever organization comes up with these lists. And it's also one of the poorest countries, according to these lists. But the wealth in that country is fucking insane. So should a country so wealthy still be going through stuff like this in 2025? And my answer is no. Like, the people shouldn't stand for this. Do you know what I mean? The people shouldn't stand for all of their resources leaving the country and going elsewhere, and other countries benefiting from their resources more than they do. That's my opinion. And I think the sooner African people around the world realize that and recognize that and decide not to stand for it, the better for Africans. But unfortunately, they don't have a voice or voices that kind of translate that to the world and that translate that to their own people. Forget the world, that translate that to the people around the world. They don't really have people to look at and say, you know what, I fuck with this guy and I believe what this guy said and this is who I'm riding with. African people definitely need that. And I hope that the deaths kind of stop with this Angolan situation, because I do love my Angolans, just like I love all my Africans around the world. You feel me? Yeah, man. And this is my take on this. And also, one more thing. The ruling party in Angola has been in power for apparently almost 50 years. The ruling MPLA party, which has maintained power since independence in 1975, continues to face accusations of authoritarianism and suppressing dissent. That's 50 years in power, bro. Like, what have you done in those 50 years? You know what I mean? Yeah, we can blame the oppressors and we can blame Western influence and the control Portugal had and whatever other countries have control over Angola. But be that as it may, bro, you lot have had 50 years. I know they had, what's his name, Dos Santos. And from all I know about Dos Santos, from what I've seen, is that he's made his daughter a billionaire. I'm trying to say, like his daughter, I think her name's Isabel. Isabel dos Santos is famous. She's got all of this bread. A lot of these Western countries are trying to cancel her, take her bread away or whatever. And he seems like she's due to be president in Angola soon. And I see the streets of Angola, they look like they kind of built up the country. The country looks a bit clean, do you know what I mean? Along the streets in Angola. It looks kind of calm. For me, it looks clean. Like everyone I know who goes to Angola has nothing but good things to say about Angola. Like they do talk up Angola. The capital is Luanda. I don't know if this is it, but that says Lubango. But yeah, and I know that the Dos Santos regime and whoever else came before him, it kind of made the country clean. Do you know what I mean? People always say nice stuff about the infrastructure of Angola, but when we get to a point whereby it is 2025 and there are protests over the increase of diesel, I think it's sad, especially for a country that has so much oil. Do you know what I mean? And not just protests, people are actually dying. People are being arrested. Like 22 deaths is too much. That's probably increased because that article came out, what, 2 days ago, yesterday? So, yeah, man, I hope that stops and I hope the government patterns up and the people kind of figure it out. But yeah, let me know what you think below. I appreciate it. Love.